What is good, YouTube, and welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be doing a high taper fade, and this one's going to be a little bit more of a transformation. As you can see, this dude has a big fro right now. We definitely going to have to be cutting this down. So I hope y'all ready. Let's go ahead and lock in. Yes, I'm making my client pick out his own hair. He should have did it before he came. As you can see, it got stuck, and I wasn't trying to deal with this. But I am putting on a 10 guard and knocking down all the hair off to an even length before I even get started with the fade. And you can already see how much better he looks just by cutting it down. And the first thing I'm doing with this fade is putting on a 2 guard to blend into the bulk, and I'm really just using a scoop motion to just blend into the top of the hair. Just kind of setting my foundation before we even get this fade started. Next, I'm setting in my first guideline with my trimmer. And yes, these are my soft trimmers, so that line will be easy to take out. Next, I'll be setting in my second guideline with no guard, lever halfway open, going up about a ½ inch in a flick out motion. And really just staying consistent as I'm setting in this second guideline. Next, I'm setting in my third guideline with the 0.5, a lever halfway open, going up about a ½ inch in a flick out motion, and staying consistent with that line. Now I'll be throwing on my 1.5 guard, lever halfway open, and going up another ½ inch. And really, I didn't have to really do this part, but I'm doing it just because, for all the new barbers out there, just follow your steps. And I could have skipped it. I could have just went ahead and threw on my 1 guard, but even sometimes I like to just go through and just do my steps to make sure everything is perfect. And that's really what I'm doing, and just blending into that dark area. Now I'll be throwing on my 1 guard, lever open, and basically blending out where that 1.5 was at. So I start with my lever open, flicking out, and just gradually close my lever as I'm going down on the fade. Like I said, I could have skipped the 1.5 guard, but I didn't want to do that because I just wanted to follow the steps and show y'all what I would do if I was a new barber. And really, sometimes it's better just to follow your steps, and it makes it easier. So you won't run into no error. And you can see that darkness just coming right out. And you can see my wrist. I'm flicking and staying consistent and using the corner of my clipper. And don't forget to use a brush or a comb to brush down the hair. For me, I like using a comb just because I've always used it, and it's more versatile for me. And if I need to use clipper over comb real quick, I can do it. But just me personally, I like using the comb. But make sure you are brushing down the hair. Now I'm throwing on my wall half guard, lever close, and I will be blending out that 0.5. The reason I start with the lever close is because I feel like as I'm blending, I can open my lever and detail into the 1 if I need to. But it's always just been easier for me like that, and I just like that process better, and it just comes out smoother with the fade, and I can go into the go up higher in the fade if I need to. But don't forget, use the corner of your clipper and flick out, because you don't want to make too harsh of a line whenever you're detailing. Now what I'm about to show you is why I like using a comb instead of a brush. As you can see, that dark spots right there, all I do is brush the hair down, flip my comb over, and just clipper over comb it. And look how easy it is. You don't got to switch to a comb or anything. You just go, drag the hair underneath it, and just like that, fading out. Now I'll be taking out my first initial guideline. As you can see, I have no guard, but what I did first was have the lever open and kind of just detail the fade a little bit. I'm working between the 0.5 and the 1 and just taking out any dark spots that I see before I work my way down and take out my first initial guideline, which was with the trimmer. Now the next step I'm doing is basically I was adding shape to his fro because he didn't like the way it was shaped out at first. So basically I'm just trying to make it more round. So I took my comb and just really started shaping it into more of a rounder shape instead of the shape it was at first, which I don't know what it was, but it just looked funny. So he wanted it more round. Now moving on to the other side, we're gonna move through this part pretty quick. But again, debulking with my 2, setting in my first guideline. And before I even got started with the fade, I went ahead and just shaped it just because I just wanted to do that and get that out of the way. But as you can see, remember like I said, I'm trying to make it round. So I'm just clipper over combing everything, shaping it out. Then I'm setting in my second guideline, going up about a ½ inch in a flick out motion. Then with the 0.5, going up another ½ inch in a flick out motion. Now with my 1 1/2 guard, I'm just softening up the dark line above the 0.5. And this just makes it easier when you go in with your 1 guard to blend that line out. Now I have my 1 guard on and I will be blending into the 1 1/2. Next I'll be throwing on my ½ guard, blending out the 0.5. And as you can see, I'm just using a flick out motion, starting with the lever close and opening up as I go higher into the fade. Now I will be attacking my first initial guideline, lever open, and kind of just working my way down as I close the lever until that line just fades out. And another thing you'll see me do, and I've said it before, I kind of just go into my fade and use the corner of my clipper to just go through and detail and, you know, make sure that line is out. Again, doing some clipper over comb work to take some of those dark areas out. Before we got started on the back taper, I'm just going through, doing some clipper over comb work, shaping his hair out to the round shape that he wanted. Then with the first step, I throw on my 2 guard, just blending into the bulk and just really kind of getting my foundation ready to set in this taper. Then I set in my bald guideline. No guard, lever halfway, going up about a ½ inch in a flick out motion. Next, throwing on my 0.5, lever close, going up another ½ inch in a flick out motion. Next, throwing my 1 1/2 guard on and just softening up all that dark area so I can go through and blend into it with my 1 guard. Making sure I brush the hair down and I have my 1 guard on, and all I'm doing is blending into that 1 1/2. I start with my lever close and I kind of just work my way up. Yes, as I go higher into the blend, I do open my lever. Again, doing clipper over comb to take out some of the dark spots that I see to help with the transition just be smoother. Next, throwing on my ½ guard, I'm taking out my 0.5 line, lever close, and gradually open my lever as I work my way up into the fade. And yes, I'm staying with the consistent flick out motion. On this part right here, I just have my 2 guard on and I'm just shaping out the fro, and I'm also kind of softening out the hairline so it won't be so dark around the ear. Now we are doing lineup prepping. So one thing I've been doing a little different now is using dry shampoo, and I've been loving it ever since I've been doing it. The reason I've been doing this, I feel like it's just been making my hairline look so much more crispier. So first I put dry shampoo on, then I go through and come back with freeze spray. And then also, before you start any edge up, you want to go through and make sure all the hair is brushed down. So with his hairline, I went through with a 1 guard and just cut the hair down so it wouldn't be so thick, and it would actually make it look more crispier in my opinion when the hairline's not too thick. going through, spraying some dry shampoo, brushing the hair down. Then I come back with the freeze spray, spray it all over the hairline, come back and brush the hair down again. Now I'm starting on the neckline up first just so I can let the front line up dry up a little bit. But as you can see, I'm starting down low first and I work my way up. Then I start at the top of the ear and connect those two lines together. And when I'm doing edge ups around the ear, all I'm using is the corner of my trimmer and just tracing out the outline of the hair around the ear.
Going crazy.
Now starting with the front line up, I always start in the middle and work my way left, just tapping the hairline. Let me rephrase this. This is my right and his left. Then I start in the middle again and work my way to the left, which is his right, just tapping the hairline and moving along and making sure I don't push him back and just hitting any hairs that I see. Now it's time to line up the side of his hairline. One thing I like to do is just kind of line it up with the end of his eyebrow and just go through and tap it. And that's really it. Nothing too much to it. Just making sure it's lined up with the end of that eyebrow and you're all good. Lastly, doing some straight razor work, making sure I stretch the skin and just with slow strokes, hitting the hairline, not going too deep into it, just getting some of that excess hair and detail work. Again, like I said about detail, I just like to go through and, just kind of detail the fade up a little bit. If I see any dark spots, go through and hit it with the corner of my clipper. And one thing I didn't do was take out my last line on the back taper. I usually do that last, so I just leave my guard open and really just work my way down as I'm blending out that last line and also just detailing the back of the taper. And I threw a little bit of product in his hair just so it won't look dry and get them curls popping. And there you have it, folks, the finished product. Today I did a high taper fade, and I hope y'all enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Stay tuned because I have a lot more content coming. Let me know what you think about the video, and see y'all next time.